welcome. Wait a second. Why can't I hear myself now? Man, I had this all worked out seconds ago. And I don't know if the audio got grumpy with me. And it was all working fine. You guys can hear me, but I can't hear myself. Oh, look. Wait for it. Huh? Now I can hear. Yeah, welcome to another live stream. It's been a minute. I know it's not Tuesday. Tuesdays are difficult days. Mondays are technically difficult days, but I abandoned all my responsibilities as creative director of a craft show and decided to jump on here and hang out. Yeah, audio's okay. Thank you. I sat on the cord and unplugged it, so I left it that way. So I was going to do this is a little bit of a test. I put a poll up a while back on YouTube. Mr. Pickles, aka Just Delightful, of the Tender Men Depot. I'm sorry. He gave me a heads up that you couldn't really vote, so I reposted it. And so what I wanted to do, and this is again serves as a test, but always going to have some kind of value to it, is I wanted to be able to show one of the films I directed. I'll probably get in trouble for it. I don't really care, but eventually I want to show the film, and so literally we'll have a live Q&A. Like we can pop on, have conversations. I mean, I'll control it so I can pause it. It's an 1.5 hour feature. Not today though. Today is just a test. We'll look at a spot back and forth, and we'll just talk through it. But when we do the feature side of things, you get to watch a movie for free that otherwise you'd have to pay 99 cents, which I wouldn't see any of anyway. And hang out, talk about it. We can talk about the cameras. We can talk about all kinds of good stuff. Hopefully Worley will jump in there at some point. I see Jeff Fagan's here. If you're not following that dude, Reach Films and Jeff's channel over there, Jeff Fagan on Jeff, what is it on YouTube? Throw it up there. Give yourself some shameless love. If you're not following that guy, he is a rock star of rock stars. So anyway, I got two different things going on. I got a little Facebook love and I got a little YouTube love. So I'll do my best to do the comments. So I'm going to jump into it. What we have, check this out. I've been playing with buttons here. Let's see if I can make them work. Bloop. Nope, I did it wrong already. Up. I've done it wrong twice. Hold on. Wait for it. There we go. So I'm going to talk through this spot. So what I'll do is I'll play the spot with volume up, and I may throw a couple of words, but then I'll just put on repeat. We can go back through it, talk things out. If you have questions, welcome to show them in there. I will talk about all the technical details. I'll talk about the budget, how we approached it, what it did. This spot did win a few awards, but more importantly, it went, the short version went very viral for us on both Facebook and then also on YouTube. And so it did really well, and without putting paid ads behind it. So we'll show the spot first. So here is the spot. This is, we just call this the Scream spot. We'll just call it the Scream spot. See if I can get there. It goes. How's that audio mix coming through there? Hopefully good.
Hello?
Hello, Linda.
Hi. Who is this?
You know who this is.
I do?
Oh, yes. You see, we've known each other for a long time.
Well, your voice doesn't sound familiar, and I don't like playing games, so why don't you just go ahead and tell me who you are?
Linda, is that any way to speak to your own roommate?
But I don't have a roommate.
Yes, you do. Because I live here, too. I've always lived here.
Listen, creep, if you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna call the cops.
The cops can't help you, Linda.
Oh, yeah? Why not?
Because I'm already in the house.
Don't let pests threaten you. Whether you need one-time service or regular treatments, at ProShield Termite and Pest
All right,
Control,
so
our
there you
30
have
years
it.
of
That's the spot
experience will
itself. I'm
ensure
going
that your home is
to turn this audio
protected
down.
inside and out.
And so
Plus,
obviously the
visit
spot is set up for a
myProShieldPest.com to
ProShield,
schedule
which
your
is a
free
pest
estimate.
control company. Let me get this on loop here. And I'm going to pull the volume down. There we go. So yeah, so the spot was actually shot on the FX6. We shot this prior to, which is a Sony camera. We've talked about it before. We moved over to Sony. The reason why we moved to Sony and we selected that, long story short, We went through a lot of different tests and went to a big event where we got to see different cameras tested, and Sony was right in the middle. As I've said before, we wanted to be with Sony. So we shot this on anamorphic lenses. We shot them on the Blazar, which used to be called Greatjoy lenses. I had a very tough time finding reviews of those lenses aside from like random stuff. I wanted to see something that was shot properly that way. And so you can kind of see in the background even, I wish I had another mouse. That's next time. But if you look in the background, just those of you that know anamorphic, you can kind of see the separation. And I apologize for a little bit of stutter playback. That would be expected based on this idea. But again, this is kind of a beta test to see how it works. I like the Blazars. They worked out really well, but I was a really big fan of the Sony camera. At the time, we did not have that. We did not have the luxury of having D-squeeze, so we had to D-squeeze. There's the tiny knife for Brooks. Brooks, there you go. Brooks says that tiny knife was legit. Yeah, the tiny knife makes the spot, and I'll talk about that here in a second. I'm going to let it keep looping, and I'll go through art direction on the next couple of passes when we get to them. This back-end footage was shot on Blackmagic. It was a previous spot. We called it a features and benefits, or an F&B, so we did an F&B for these guys and just let it run. And so shooting on the Sony side of things, we had to de-squeeze it in camera, or couldn't do it in camera, had to do it with an external monitor, which is fine because if you've ever shot on the Sony and tried to de-squeeze, literally the image is like as tiny as the little knife. The image on the de-squeeze of a Sony is as small as a knife, so you need an external monitor. My point being, though, this was shot during the day, so we also have a really great G&E team. Shout out to our gaffer, Bernie Sawyer, fantastic gaffer, great DP and director in his own right. And then his best boy was Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management and Bar and Grill. And so they blacked it out, so we did a blackout around the house. And so it was 1, 2, 3, 4 by floppies. And then the garage area, we wanted to have some light shining in just to add a little atmospheric effect. And so that is going to be an aperture. That was the 1200 or 600. Sorry, that's aperture 600 shining in. We dialed it in towards that sodium vape style. Now, when Jeff Worley graded it, he for some reason decided to kill the sodium vape because he hates me, I guess. But originally, it would have been that orange light coming through, and it would have had like that sodium vape style from our childhood. And the approach went that route. And so we shot this in approximately 6 hours. So it was a 6-hour shoot from top to bottom, not counting the F&B footage because we already had this stuff. So we shot in about 6 hours. And yeah, Brooks said, tell her that Scream also sold me. Also legit. Yeah. Allison did a fantastic job. She was a star that is casting through Suzanne Massingale over at Barefoot Models and Talent. So shout out to Suzanne. Great job there. Great cast on this one. But putting it together, you can see there, Jeff neutralized it a bit, made it more blue. I think he was trying to run away from orange and teal because he just hates orange and teal so much. But you can kind of see how the light came in. There's an alternate to this spot as well that became more important for that room, which was a gag where we shot a 30-second version of this where she's just running through the door as if she's already been attacked, and she's running through the door, and she goes through a similar bit of dialogue, almost identical, except she's frantic the entire time, and when she spins around in the end, tiny cockroach, or cockroach with tiny knife is still there for you, and then we tie it up with an F&B. When we did the one that went viral, we ran a 15 version of it, which basically picks up from right about here, and I cut the edit down so that when she does the turn, you get the turn. We were also able to punch in on the using the anamorphics. We were able to punch in and keep it nice and vertical without any real major degradation. And let's face it, guys, like you can shoot vertical if you know your end product is vertical, but most people, they don't care anymore. What I'll jump into is I'll talk a little bit about the other aspects here when it loops back around. But one thing to keep in mind is we had a full art department, and I think that's one of the things in a lot of smaller local commercials that get overlooked. Is you got to have an art department. So we had Lauren Kelly doing hair and makeup, which we gave her Drew Barrymore sort of effect. That's what we wanted to go after from the original Scream, and Lauren Kelly knocked it out of the park. And then our production design team was a twofold team, one of them being my wife, and then another young lady. Gosh, I cannot remember her last name, but she was fantastic. And they did a great job dressing the set. We, of course, had more stuff than we needed, and we dressed it out. And the reason I bring up an art department is it's often overlooked because in a line item on the budget, so many of us get so excited about the camera, the tools, or the technology, we often don't think about the art direction. And really, if you want to talk about making something with production value, to add real production value, to add cinematic production value to a product, you're going to, or video, you're going to have to think about all the little details. And so this whole set was dressed. And so one of the ways that we approach these kind of locations and how we get these spots is we often negotiate with Airbnb owners, because you can find them online. We negotiate with the Airbnb owner. We sit down and we pay them through Airbnb so they're safe, they're happy, and we tell them what we're doing. We're filming a commercial here or whatever, and it works out really well. We also make sure we give them a production certificate of insurance so that our butts are covered as well. But the idea being is that we find a great looking location that has the right geography. This one worked really well. We went through probably 8 or 9 houses when we were doing the location scouting and other process. And this one fit the bill the most. And then again, as I talked about, we were able to just dress the set. The knives weren't there, other components. The stuff that makes it look lived in wasn't there whatsoever. And so we were able to go back in and dress those up. That's the important of our art department, because now all of a sudden, Jeff, the director of this spot, and I, the director of photography, we were able to focus on the elements that we wanted to make sure and capture in the right direction, so we could spend time going through it and making sure it lined up correctly. You can kind of see the light. See how black that black is out there? Not super realistic. If you're looking for it, you know it's there, and you'll also notice it in the background. That's because, again, we blacked these out with Duvetine and 4x floppies. So total budget on this project was around 15, somewhere around there. It's around 15 grand, give or take. It might have been closer to 10. I can't remember, but it's somewhere. I know it's 15 or less. And again, we were able to generate 4 pieces of content from this. So we have the long form version, we have a short 30 version, we have the 15-second, and then we have F&B content as well. So we're able to generate 4 pieces of this, which is important because when you're trying to get a client to move forward, this is one way to do it, one way to approach it. It was edited and colored on DaVinci Resolve. We exclusively use DaVinci at this point. The reason being is that it's so much easier just... We have the paid version, but it's just so much easier to have a project round trip to your colorist, back to you for final mix. Everything gets happy pappy. Like, it just makes for a much better lifespan of a project when you can kind of keep it in one project file. And often, in this case, we shipped the footage up to, or he downloaded the footage, Mr. Worley did, and then we just traded DRPs back and forth, which makes it extremely awesome. Yeah, but Justina, who's in the office next to me, I could probably yell at her if I wanted to, said, oh, Claire Rockwell. That's it. Claire Rockwell was the other art department person that helped us out on that side of things. So yeah, that's the spot. It won a Gold Addy Award, it won a Silver Telly Award, and it also won something else. It won Best Copywriting Award, which I got to give credit to the director again, Jeff Etheridge. Really smashed this one out of the park. He made things happen in a great way. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the mix there if you'd like to. There's open book on any of that stuff. Whenever the budget with you, attacked it. We did run a campaign after it, and did really well. We did a digital campaign, we did a television campaign, so we did a multi-tier media buy. If you haven't, I'm not shamelessly peddling my stuff. I don't make any money off this stuff, but there is a video I put out that talked about our process of how to start and grow a successful video production company. If you want to see that stuff, it's on the YouTube channel, the Craft Show YouTube channel. It's a lot of talking. Treat it like a podcast because that's essentially what it is, but I break down everything that we go through that. Is that the same one that blew up on the shorts, the 15? Yes, it is. I wasn't prepared to play it there, Jim, Mr. Pickle Pants, or Just Delightful there. I wasn't prepared to play it, but I will. Jeff says, looks great, awesome idea. Thank you, sir. I would love to do it. In fact, I'd love to have Jeff on at some point. I'd love to take other content and do the same thing. So if we have stuff we watch together and maybe just have dialogue. One of the ideas I had was, I don't know how many people watch The Bear, but I feel like The Bear is maybe one of the best pieces of content created. I think from a storytelling perspective for sure, but I think if you're a creative individual, there's so much, if you're into film and video, there's so much amazing nuance to The Bear. And so that's another option that we could get to if you guys would like to watch it. Now I got to pause the video. That's an interesting gimmick.
I do?
There we go. So, yeah, that's more or less it. That's what I wanted to showcase and talk about. And again, if there's questions on it, I remember that we used to, if you've been around this channel for a minute, we used to do these amazing things. Lauren Kelly, I just shouted you out, young lady. Lauren Kelly, right there. I just shouted you out talking about what a great job you did, hair and makeup on the ProShield Stabby Roach spot. Now, that's what we actually call it, but I didn't want to give the joke away to anybody watching the show. I talked about how we gave you like some Drew Barrymore vibes, and you really just blew it out of the water. It was absolutely amazing. Lauren has been working with us for a long time. I think her first movie is the movie that I actually want to put on at some point. I'll schedule it out so there's time. If you guys will tell me, I assume an evening would be better. The movie is about 86 minutes, so I imagine about 2 hours. Lauren Kelly worked on that movie. The movie originally was titled Nigel and Oscar versus the Sasquatch. For whatever reason, distributors, and I'll talk about this throughout the process, they hate things. Yeah, it has been 10 years. They hate things. They hate titles that are fun, and so they changed it to Sasquatchers. I believe it's still up on Peacock for free, and Amazon and other places. It is family friendly. There's no major cussing or any kind of violence or gratuitousness in that, but I will eventually set up a date and time. I'll put a post about it, and we'll see when people want to do it and watch it, and it'll be a live Q&A. I may reach out to Adam. I can't guarantee I'll get any of the stars to pop in. Maybe Adam would. Maybe not, but who knows? But we will do that, and we'll talk about it. And if other people want to jump on when we do this that worked on the show, I'd love to have their stories, because it was a very interesting movie, not just in the way we did it, but we all kind of lived together like we went to camp, and it did something really, really, really fun, because we literally lived on top of a mountain. We had some crazy events happen. There was a union strike. It was wild stuff, absolutely wild stuff. And it'll be fun to talk about that over the course of the movie. The movie's hilarious. Or people say, I don't know anymore, because I've obviously made it. And if you've made stuff, it gets crazy after a while. Yeah, the Twinkie scene is solid. There's a lot of little moments in there, and there's a lot of improv, and there's a lot on the cutting room floor of that film. Back to the comments real quick. Miss Kelly says 10 years now. Yeah, we've been together for 10 years. Lauren Kelly has been my go-to for quite some time, and I am very grateful that she puts up with my insanity, because she is delightful on set. Just Delightful says it got 217,000 views on YouTube. The movie, because it was already pirated, or the trailer? Maybe the trailer. And then, yeah, she talks about the Twinkie scene. So we're going to put that together. I'll throw that up. Is a weeknight better? Like if we did a weeknight, if you guys want to throw that in the comments of this video, I'll give it about a week or so. Maybe towards the end of this week even. Maybe I'll throw it up there. I don't know. Whatever people want to do. Is a weeknight better? I could do it on a Saturday night. We could also do more of a weekday. I don't really care. And we can figure it out, see what people want to do on that side of things. And again, shout out to the creators behind this spot. We had a really great team. Yeah, he said the movie. In the comments on that upload, it seems to have become a stoner cult classic. Fantastic. That's great. I love it. I'm glad that people enjoy it. It's a funny movie. It does what it's supposed to do. I guess that's what they say. So they say. That's a line from the movie, because I'm a nerd and I remember that stuff. But yeah, shout out to the production team behind the Stabby Knife Cockroach spot. Shout out to them. I appreciate all the hard effort and work they put in. And again, thanks for hanging out with me and watching this. This test seemed to work pretty well. Did you guys enjoy this? It seems like it worked. If you did, make sure you throw some comments below and let me know. And then let me know again. I'll throw up a poll on the YouTube side of things, weeknight, weekday kind of thing. And then also, if you will give me a heads up on what you thought of this process, that'd be good as well. Thanks for hanging out. I will chat with you all very, very soon. Peace. I don't know why I gave you a thumbs up.